Something extraordinary is happening right now, and it is unfolding in real time, before the eyes of the entire world. The man who once launched one of the most aggressive trade wars in modern history, in modern American history, the man who called China a currency manipulator, who slapped tariffs as high as 147% on Chinese goods, who told the world that America would never bow down to Beijing. That same man is now sitting at a banquet table inside the Great Hall of the People. He is shaking hands with Jinping. He is smiling at the camera. And behind closed doors, analysts, allies, and adversaries alike are all asking the exact same question. What did Donald Trump give up to get here? Welcome back. Let's get into it. But before you dive deep into the details, hit the like button. Just click now. Just click the right now and subscribe this channel to make me a little happier. To understand what is happening today in Beijing, you have to go back to where this all started, right? Because this story did not begin last week. It did not even begin last year. This has been building for months, shaped by a series of dramatic reversals, unexpected concessions, and a geopolitical chess match that many experts now believe China is winning. China's position on Taiwan has never wavered. Beijing views the island as a breakaway province that must eventually be reunified under Communist Party rule. It sees American weapon sales to Taiwan as a direct provocation, a violation of what it calls the fundamental spirit of US-China diplomacy. And now with Trump sitting across from sea, China sees an opening. Analysts have described the potential concession clearly. Trump could agree explicitly or implicitly to slow or delay the arms sale package. He could soften the public language around Taiwan's independence. He could see something, anything that Beijing could frame to its domestic audience as American acceptance of the one China reality. Right? It would signal that Taiwan security is negotiable, that it could be placed on a table as a bargaining chip when America needs something else more urgently, and now America needs something else very urgently. That something is Iran. Right? The United States has been fighting a war with Iran. American military operations have included a naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical passage shipping lanes on the planet through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes. Thank you. When Beijing began restricting rare earth export in the spring of 2025, American manufacturers started panicking. Supply chain that had been built over decades began to wobble. Defense contractors raised alarm. Tech companies flagged critical shortages, and the Trump administration, which had promised economic dominance, suddenly found itself staring at a very uncomfortable reality. The tariff blitz had worked for the cameras, but it was inflicting serious pain back home. By May 2025, the first major reversal came quietly out of Geneva, Switzerland. American and Chinese negotiators sat down over a weekend and emerged with a deal. Both sides agreed to roll back a significant portion of their tariff, each cutting rates by 150% while keeping a baseline 10% tariff in place. The White House called it a historic win. Critics called it a retreat dressed up in a victory language. Either way, the era of the trade embargo was over and a go-days negotiating pause. And a 90 days negotiating pause had begun. That summer, negotiations continued, and in October of 2025, the two leaders finally met face to face at a summit in South Korea. Cast your mind back to early 2025. Donald Trump had just returned to the White House for his second term, and he came in swinging. He immediately reimposed a massively expanded tariff on Chinese import. His administration framed it as the ultimate correction, a reckoning for decades of what they called unfair trade. By April of 2025, the so-called Liberation Day tariff had pushed effective duties on Chinese goods to levels not seen in a century. The message from Washington was clear. America was done playing soft with Beijing. The era of engagement was over. This was confrontation, full stop. China did not flinch. Beijing retaliated fast and hard. It met tariff for tariff. It placed American companies on economic blacklist. It cut off exports of rare earth elements, those critical minerals that power everything from electric vehicles to fighter jet to the smartphones in your pocket. And that is where the storm started to turn. Because here is something that many people underestimated about this movement. China had leverage, real leverage, and it was prepared to use it. Trump and Xi shook hands on a broader deal. China agreed to buy massive quantities of American soybean, 25 million metric tons a year, for 3 straight years. It agreed to suspend export on rare earth. It agreed to lift retaliatory tariffs against American agricultural products. In exchange, the United States quietly shelved some of its most aggressive structural demands, the ones that had originally been designed to fundamentally reshape how China runs its economy. Gone were the hard pushes to dismantle state subsidies and face open China's internal markets in any meaningful way. What remained was a managed trade relationship, not a reform one. Foreign policy analysts at the time noted something that did not get nearly enough attention. China had not just survived the trade war, it had come out of it with more confidence than it went in. Officials in Beijing had watched the Trump administration blink, and they took notes. The fear that had once surrounded Trump's unpredictability, that as the United States had carried in the early months, began to dissolve. Chinese strategists concluded something important. They could handle Trump, they could outlast the pressure, absorb the pain, and eventually bring Washington back to the table on more favorable terms. And now we arrive at today, May 14, 2026. Right now, as you watch this video, Donald Trump is in Beijing on an official state visit. The first time a sitting American president has set foot in China in nearly a decade. The imagery alone is striking. Trump arriving at Beijing Capital International Airport, welcomed by Chinese Vice President Han Zheng and a military honor guard. The motorcade rolling through Beijing street. The meeting at the Great Hall of the People. The state banquet the carefully choreographed photographs at the Temple of Heaven. But beneath the pageantry, there are enormous questions swirling, and some of the answers are already making Washington's allies deeply uncomfortable. Let's talk about what Trump brought to Beijing and, more importantly, what we have already given away before he even landed. In the weeks leading up to this summit, Trump made a statement that sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles. He told reporters at the White House that he would discuss arms sale to Taiwan with Jinping. That sentence, just that one sentence, triggered alarm bells from Taipei to Tokyo to Brussels, because arms sale to Taiwan have been a cornerstone of American deterrence strategy in the Pacific for decades. Taiwan currently has a $14 billion arms package pending from Washington.